Thank you for joining Matthews Digital. My name is Aaron, and today we are going to see how to configure Visual Studio Code for T24 development and why you should consider using it to increase your day-to-day productivity. Hope you enjoy this video. Without further ado, let's get started. Visual Studio Code, or VS Code, is a free and professional code editor developed by Microsoft. To download, go to code.visualstudio.com. VS Code is available for Windows, Mac OS, as well as for Linux. I'm going to click on Download for Windows since I'm on Windows. After download, find the setup file either in your downloads folder or double-click on the downloaded file to start the installation process. Accept the agreement, then Next. You can opt to save the icon on the desktop, but I'm not going. But make sure you leave other options by default. After the installation, click Finish to launch the application. This is what you should see after opening Visual Studio Code for the first time. Now, let's see how to use Visual Studio Code. From the top, we have Explorer. This is used to open and create folders and files, as well as to navigate through our workplace. Next is a search bar. Then we have Source Control button. Once you initiate Git in your work folder, you can easily track, commit, and push changes from VS Code. Next is a Run or Debug button. Then we have the Extension button. This is used to install the extensions. We'll be using this to install one of the extensions to work with JBC programs. At the very bottom, we have Settings. There are two ways you can use to open your programs in VS Code. One, we have seen this last time. From your command line, you navigate to the source folder, then simply type code followed by dot. Hit enter, and this opens a new Visual Studio Code instance with your folder and your programs. Secondly, you can just use the menu. Both options will work. We can also use Visual Studio Code to create folders and files. Now, let's see how to configure Visual Studio Code for T24 development. For that, we are going to install an extension called MV Basic. Type MV Basic and then select the first one. Click Install. As you can see, MV Basic can do a lot for us. We have IntelliSense, we have code folding, we have code formatting, and so on. We also have documentation for JBC functions and statements. Now let's see how to configure this. Use Settings, then Extensions, or simply type Ctrl-Shift-X. Search for MV Basic. There are 3 parameters we need to change. One is the indentation. By default, there's 3, you can change to 4. Then the language, we can select JBase, but the most important is the camel case. Make sure you untick camel case. Otherwise, the editor will try to correct you whenever you write your statement or function in capital. It will try to convert them into camel case. One of the features I like the most is the documentation. As you can see, whenever I start typing info basic system variable or inbuilt function, the documentation is displayed automatically, showing what a particular statement or function does. I can also see the parameters, the function text. If you see here the example, we have a system variable date as well as a function with the same name, and we can read the difference. There's also a hint that this function can be used along with oconv to convert the date. So all this plus code highlighting, plus code folding, plus IntelliSense, these are very convenient when it comes to productivity. You don't want to waste your time looking for what a particular function does, how to use it, which parameters it takes, if you don't remember. So while coding, you can easily read the documentation without moving away from your code editor. I hope you have enjoyed watching this video and you have seen how you can boost your productivity using Visual Studio Code. There are a lot of VS Code extensions for almost any programming language you can imagine. In fact, I use Visual Studio Code for almost any programming projects. Being in Python, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Golang, and so on. VS Code is the editor of my choice. Thank you for watching. Please consider to subscribe if you haven't, share and like this video. See you next. Bye bye.